What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new video here. So I got a wild one for you today. We have massive developments exploding all over the Middle East. I'm going to show you a bunch of videos of what the hell is going on. But first off, let's just get right to it. Number one was Hassan Nasrallah, the former leader of Hezbollah's funeral, was today. And there was a massive show of force from the Israeli Defense Forces. We see a massive flyover over the funeral with tens of thousands of people, having people running all over the place. I mean, it seemed as though there could have been a potential attack. There was sonic booms, clearly a show of force and designed to intimidate a lot of the people in the crowds. Whatever you feel about that, there's no question the entire purpose of this is basically to say, hey, there's tens of thousands of you on the ground, but we have air superiority. We have the power in this conflict. That's clearly what was going on there. Again, there was speculation, honestly, that there could have been a massive attack at this funeral by Israel, but I think it would have been too destabilizing in an attack, and it would have just escalated tensions where there would be no turning back if that happened. But again, it was a massive, massive spectacle to see. You had people from all over the place. You had mullahs from Iran. You had a bunch of different people from all over the world. You had the foreign minister of Iran. So you had high-profile enemies of Israel. There's no question about it there. And some of the images were absolutely astounding. So here's a clip of the flyover over the funeral in Beirut, Lebanon. Absolutely stunning footage. Here's the clip, guys, and we'll talk about it in just a moment. Okay, again, that is absolutely stunning footage. I mean, you have Israeli warplanes doing an absolute show of force over a stadium of hundreds of thousands of people, it seems like. I mean, let's be honest. And amazing, you see the crowd there in absolute hysterics after the warplanes go over. And you definitely saw some fear, like, oh my God, are they about to bomb the place out? Because a lot of people were speculating. Again, people were speculating that this would be a massive place for an attack that Israel would do. And I'm a little surprised that nothing happened, but I would just about guarantee you there was many discussions about this. But as I said, I just think it would have been too destabilizing for Israel to take an action like that, and it would have almost certainly led to immediate war. Like I said, you had high-level officials in the Iranian government and all over the place. So it just wasn't the place, I'm assuming, the Israelis made that determination. But again, a total show of force. But moving on from that, I mean, we're seeing a massive escalation in other areas of the world. We talked about Ukraine and Russia with what the hell is going on there, with Trump siding with the Russians, which is, I mean, it's like we're in fantasy land. I mean, it's truly wild. The United States basically siding with a Russian dictator rather than a Ukrainian ally who we've been funding. And by the way, guys, you know what's pretty interesting? You know, Trump said he wants this mineral deal with the Ukrainians, and he wants some sort of reimbursement for the aid. Again, you have to understand, guys, this is a lot of people on the right, they love this. But guess what? Notice how you don't see that same logic. Oh, why don't the Israelis reimburse us? Why don't the Israelis reimburse the United States? You don't hear them say that. Again, it's very tactical. It's very obvious to people who are paying attention what's going on here. It's not about Ukraine. It's about supporting the Russian narrative, which is basically what Trump and his administration have done thus far. You have supposed neocons like, or anti-Russian people like Marco Rubio and Mike Waltz, basically like, yeah, no, we're totally in with Trump. I mean, it's a disgrace. We've talked about that before. Well, moving on, we're seeing Israeli tanks move into the West Bank for the first time in decades. I mean, this is truly stunning. And this comes at a time because Trump basically said, yeah, we're going to let the Israelis annex the West Bank. We're just going to let them do that. We're not going to do a Palestinian state. We're not going to do that. This is the Trump position. And again, guys, the idea that Trump is anti-war when he's supporting stuff like this is absolutely ridiculous, okay? He's going to basically allow the Israelis to march into the West Bank. And by the way, this is not like some, oh, maybe they're not going to ethnically cleanse the population. Guys, they're not going to let them back in. They've already announced the 40,000 people who have been displaced from the West Bank. The Israelis have said they're not going to let them back in. It's very clear what the intention is going to be in the West Bank, okay? So that's going to happen. You have the Israeli tanks moving in for the first time. And then today, we're seeing Netanyahu and the Israeli government announce, no, we're not going to allow Syria to be militarized from the south of Damascus. What? Oh, so basically the Israelis are threatening to go into Syria now and basically say, no, we're not going to allow anything. And what does that mean? You're not going to allow militarization. They're basically threatening, okay, we're not going to accept a formal Syrian army here. We're going to go in. And does that mean annexation of more territory? I don't think it's impossible at all. At all. I think it's very clear what the end goal of the Trump administration specifically, guys, because again, they are in lockstep. There is no way this would be able to be achieved without the absolute support of the Trump administration. And guys, by the way, make sure if you're enjoying the content to like and subscribe. It's super good for the algorithm. If you want to support the channel in any way, my Patreon link is also in the description, and Amazon links of products I use. But again, the entire thing is insane, and we're seeing massive escalations in massive areas of the world. And hey, listen, people thought Trump, or I certainly didn't think so. If you've been listening to this for a while, you know that's not what I thought. But people thought there would actually be an end to conflicts. But what we're seeing is an escalation of conflicts since Trump has come into the Oval Office. Here's another clip, guys, of Trump basically talking about his plans for the West Bank and saying, no, we're going to let Israel take over the entire thing. Because I want to show you guys what he's actually said and why it's very clear what's happening there. Here is what Trump said regarding the West Bank and Israeli annexation. Here's the clip, guys.
A small country in terms of land. See this pen, this wonderful pen? My desk is the Middle East. And this pen, the top of the pen, that's Israel. That's not good, right? You know, that's a pretty big difference. I use that as an analogy. It's pretty accurate, actually. It's a pretty small piece of land. And it's amazing that they've been able to do what they've been able to do when you think about it. There's a lot of good, smart brain power, but it is a very small piece of land, no question about it.
Okay, and again, that comes after the question, will the Israelis annex the West Bank? And he said before it's going to work out. So again, it's very clear what the intention of the Trump administration is, as well as the Israeli government. And guys, just look at the appointments that Trump has made. Mike Huckabee as ambassador to Israel. This guy is as far right on the issue of Israel as it gets. So this is no question what's going on here. But again, I think we're just going to see an escalation in tensions. We've been reporting how the Iranians could do some sort of preemptive attack on Israel. And the Israelis, it was reported in the Wall Street Journal and a number of other publications, that the Iranians are going to attack Israel. Or excuse me, the Israelis are going to attack Iran and its nuclear facilities. Guys, this is not going to end well. And my big prediction is, and we're going to do a video on this probably tomorrow or Tuesday, hey, everything going on right now with Doge, Elon Musk's popularity is collapsing. It's cratering. It's like 26%, I think. And guys, I think the idea Trump's having is, hey, you know what? Well, I'll let Elon take the fire here. That's not going to work. Okay, there's actual people losing jobs. You have millions of people losing their jobs, okay? This is not just the quote-unquote deep state, as if a lot of the Republicans try and frame it as. You have millions of actual people losing jobs. These are voters, by the way, many of which were Trump voters, losing their jobs. This is not what, as far as I'm aware, this is not what the American people voted for. So, again, it's going to be super interesting to see how this entire thing plays out. But as their popularity sours due to domestic issues like what the hell Doge is doing and Elon Musk and his endeavors, you're also going to see, guys, if the United States goes to war for Israel against Iran, the American people are not going to support that. And we're seeing right now, people are not approving of the Trump administration's policy on Ukraine here either. Siding with the Russians, which again, who knows if this conflict is even going to end. And maybe there could be a re-escalation of conflicts if Trump gives the Russians a very, very good deal here. Again, the entire thing is insane, and we're just seeing a massive escalation on these fronts. So I'm concerned. I'm curious what you guys think, but I can't see this ending well. I can't see that. I think the geopolitical world right now is very, very fraught, and I don't think Trump is this master deal maker like a lot of people out there seem to think. I think his bluff has been called. We already saw it with Hamas, guys. We saw Trump said, oh, if all the hostages aren't released by Saturday, we're going to obliterate the Gaza Strip. Well, that hasn't happened, and Trump, I mean, again, these threats are not falling anymore, it seems. It's interesting times, and I do not think it's going to fare well for the world, but I hope I'm wrong. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. Again, make sure to like and subscribe. It's super good for the algorithm. And thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm happy of a wide audience here. So, again, agree or disagree, let me know what you think in the comments. And again, I'll see you guys either tomorrow or Tuesday. So that's what I got for you guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.